Hey my fellow horror gamers, and welcome back to 31 Days of Halloween. Starting today, I'll be doing a 4-day arc where I review the House of the Dead's 2, 3, 4, and Overkill. And if you want to see my review of the original House of the Dead, here's the link, and the link will also be in the description. The House of the Dead 2 was developed on the Sega Naomi arcade board and was released to arcades in November 1998. And while I have played the original House of the Dead arcade cabinet and the House of the Dead 4's arcade cabinet, but I honestly can't remember for sure if I ever had the opportunity to play the House of the Dead 2 in the arcade, but I can't rule it out. The House of the Dead 2 is ported to the Sega Dreamcast and released in Japan on March 25, 1999, and it was released in North America on September 9, 1999, when the Dreamcast launched, and it was released in Europe sometime later that year. House of the Dead 2 was ported to the Microsoft Windows in 2001, and it wasn't unlockable in the House of the Dead 3 on the Xbox. And finally, it was ported to the Wii in the compilation The House of the Dead 2 and 3 Returns in March 2008. I was hoping to be able to review the Dreamcast version for you guys, but because of a technical problem, I wasn't able to capture the Dreamcast version correctly with a light gun, and I honestly can't beat the game with a controller, at least not yet, and I still can't even beat the game with a light gun, though I'm working on it. But because of the technical problems, my only choice is to review the Wii version instead, so that's what I'm going to do. The House of the Dead 2 story takes place 14 months after the House of the Dead. Agent G has gone missing in the city Venice, so AMS agents James Taylor and Gary Stewart are dispatched along with Amy Crystal and Harry Harris to investigate, and the city becomes chaotic when undead along with some other horrifying creatures start destroying the city and attacking everyone. You take control as James and battle your way through the game, fighting off herds of undead and lots of other horrifying creatures and some really cool bosses, and along the way you need to save civilians, and in doing so you will be rewarded with extra lives. When you reach the end, you confront Caleb Goldman, who is revealed to be the mastermind who gave Kyrian the funding he needed to create his horrifying creations, and after Kyrian's death, he took over his research, and he's responsible for what's happening now. After defeating the Emperor, which is a pretty formidable boss with some awesome shape-shifting abilities, Agents James and Gary try to arrest Goldman, but he commits suicide by stepping off the roof. And the House of the Dead 2 has several endings based on your performance, and the standard ending which you're seeing here has everyone you saved in the game and your fellow AMS agents thanking you. The House of the Dead 2 is a really good game, and I really enjoyed it. The House of the Dead 2 features a really good story, but unfortunately the voice acting hasn't really been improved from the first House of the Dead, but it's not a major problem. The gameplay is rock solid. You have 6 excellently designed stages to battle your way through, which feature several branching paths that help to add to the replayability, and you and a friend can blast through the game together with multiplayer. And on top of the arcade mode, you have the original mode, which has extra features including enhanced weapons, and there is also a boss rush mode and arcade minigames, which really helps to draw out the experience. The House of the Dead 2 also features a really great soundtrack that really adds to the gameplay. The Wii version is virtually identical to the Dreamcast version. There has been no improvements to textures or any other graphical effects, though to be fair, the game still looks good, though it would have been great to have the graphics match the arcade version, which the Dreamcast original comes really close to doing, but it's just a bit off from achieving that. One thing I have noticed on very hard difficulty is while the House of the Dead 2 still offers a real challenge, but I find the Wii version easier than the Dreamcast original. Now, I don't know if I have just gotten really good at the Wii version or not, but I find it's easier to beat the Wii version over the Dreamcast version. The motion controls for the Wii version are pretty good, though sometimes they can be a bit unresponsive, but for the most part they get the job done. The House of the Dead 2 is a really good game, and it's a crying shame an HD port did not go to the PlayStation 3 for the PlayStation Move, because that would have been awesome. The House of the Dead 2 is not perfect, but it is a really solid and really fun game that I highly recommend you guys check out. I give the Wii version of House of the Dead 2 a final score of 9.3 out of 10. Tune in tomorrow when I review the PlayStation 3 HD port of the House of the Dead 3. I'll talk to you guys later. This is the Entertainment Wizard, signing off.